A wise person once said, "Let people do what they want to do, so you see what they'd rather do, that will answer all the questions you have." This simple yet profound statement speaks volumes about human nature. Observing people's choices reveals their true priorities, desires, and intentions. This understanding encourages us to remain steadfast in our goodness, no matter how poorly others may treat us. Remember, their words and actions reflect who they are, not who you are. You can sleep with a peaceful mind, knowing you have not hurt anyone. Let us share something important with you today, something that might just change the way you think about relationships. Imagine we're sitting together, having a heartfelt conversation, just you and us. We're here to discuss a topic that doesn't always get the attention it deserves: the quiet ways in which some women unintentionally let go of a good man. It's a subject that might not be easy to hear, but it's one that could make all the difference in how you view the connections in your life. Relationships, as we both know, are far from simple. They are a delicate balance of emotions, needs, and unspoken understandings. Yet, there's a pattern we've noticed over the years, a recurring theme that surfaces time and again in the stories people share with us. This pattern often begins with something as subtle as perception, a lens through which we view our partners that can sometimes be clouded by expectations. Now, let's think about those expectations for a moment. They're natural, aren't they? We all carry them, shaped by our experiences, society, and sometimes even by the stories we've been told. There's a certain image many women hold of what love should look like: grand, sweeping gestures, and declarations that leave no room for doubt. But love, as we know, is not always loud. Sometimes, it's the quiet, steady presence of a man who doesn't shout his affection from the rooftops but shows it in the way he consistently shows up, day after day. We've seen it time and again. A good man is often mistaken for being too ordinary, too reserved, or not passionate enough. His calm demeanor might be misinterpreted as indifference, his gentle support seen as a lack of strength. But what if we told you that these very traits are the foundation of a love that endures? A love that isn't about constant fireworks, but about a steady flame that warms the heart for a lifetime. There's another aspect to consider: the checklist. Many women have a mental list of what their ideal partner should be like, the qualities he must possess. While having standards is important, it can sometimes lead to overlooking the man who stands quietly beside you. He may not tick every box in an obvious way, but what he offers is something far more valuable: dedication, loyalty, and a deep, unwavering respect for you. These qualities might not always be flashy, but they are the bedrock of a relationship that lasts. Patience is something we often talk about in this context. It's not just about waiting, but about understanding the pace at which true love grows. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to expect immediate results, instant connections, and quick declarations of love. But a good man often takes his time. His love is like a well-planted seed that needs care and patience to flourish. In the rush to see the bloom, one might miss the beauty of the growth itself, the quiet, steady progress that leads to something truly profound. Let's talk about communication, or perhaps the lack of it. It's something we've seen cause more harm than one might expect. A good man may not always express his feelings in a way that is immediately understood. He might communicate his love through actions rather than words, through small, thoughtful gestures that speak volumes if one takes the time to notice. But if these actions go unnoticed, if they are taken for granted, he may start to feel as if his efforts are unseen, and that can create a distance that grows silently, almost imperceptibly. Then there's the matter of fear, fear of vulnerability, fear of being hurt, fear of not measuring up. This fear can lead to walls being built, to tests being set, or to a reluctance to show one's true self. A good man, one who seeks a deep, genuine connection, might interpret these defenses as disinterest or even rejection. Over time, these small misunderstandings can erode what could have been a strong, enduring relationship. But let's shift our focus to a more hopeful note. There is power in awareness. By becoming aware of these patterns, by recognizing the quiet strength in a good man, you can begin to nurture a relationship that is both fulfilling and lasting. It's about seeing beyond the surface, beyond the immediate and the obvious, to the deeper qualities that make a relationship truly special. The truth is, a good man is often lost not because he isn't worthy, but because his worth isn't fully seen or appreciated until it's too late. This is a lesson we've seen play out in the lives of many, sometimes with regret. But it doesn't have to be this way. By taking the time to understand and value the quiet qualities that define a good man, his reliability, his patience, his enduring love, you can cultivate a relationship that not only survives the test of time but thrives because of it. Take a moment to reflect on what truly matters in a relationship. Consider the qualities that may not be immediately apparent but are vital for long-term happiness and fulfillment. In doing so, you might just discover that the good man you've been searching for has been by your side all along, patiently waiting for you to recognize the depth of his love. If you don't go after what you want, you'll never have it. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. If you don't step forward, you're always in the same place. Life rewards those who take action, who are willing to face rejection, and who dare to move forward despite their fears. Even a little smile can touch somebody's heart. Remember, no one is born happy, but all of us are born with the ability to create happiness. This principle of taking action applies not just to our individual lives, but also to the relationships we build along the way. Relationships, after all, are not passive entities. They require active participation, commitment, and a conscious effort to grow and thrive. Now, let's explore the deeper layers of what it means to truly engage in a relationship. There are 5 essential rules that serve as the foundation for any strong connection. Stay faithful, make your partner feel wanted, respect your partner, avoid flirting with others, and make time for each other. These may seem straightforward, but they are far from simple. Each of these rules requires ongoing attention, understanding, and a willingness to prioritize the relationship over momentary distractions or temptations. Faithfulness, for instance, is not just about physical loyalty but also about emotional commitment. It's about being fully present, in mind and spirit, with the person you choose to share your life with. When we talk about making your partner feel wanted, it's more than just expressing affection. It's about creating an environment where they feel valued, appreciated, and understood. This involves recognizing their needs, acknowledging their efforts, and ensuring that they know how much they mean to you. Respect, on the other hand, is the cornerstone of any relationship. It's about honoring each other's boundaries, opinions, and individuality. It's about knowing that even in disagreement, there is a shared understanding of each other's worth and dignity. Avoiding flirtation with others might seem like an obvious rule, but it's important to recognize how easily this boundary can be crossed, even unintentionally. Flirtation is not just about words or gestures, it's about intention. It's about where your attention lies, where your thoughts wander, and where your heart is truly invested. Making time for each other, the final rule, is about prioritizing the relationship in a world that is often filled with distractions. It's about carving out moments of connection, even in the busiest of schedules, and ensuring that the relationship remains a central part of your life. Time, as we know, plays a crucial role in our lives. It decides who we meet, who stays, and who leaves. But beyond time, there is something even more powerful: our choices. Your heart may decide who you want in your life, but it's your behavior that determines who stays. This is where psychology offers profound insights into the dynamics of relationships. Women, for example, often nurture relationships in the same way they nurture their children. This nurturing instinct is deeply rooted in biology and psychology. Women are natural caregivers, and this extends to their romantic relationships. They foster, nourish, and protect whatever comes their way, including the men in their lives. Understanding this nurturing tendency is key to building a successful relationship. It means recognizing the effort, love, and care that women often pour into their relationships, sometimes without even realizing it. It also means understanding the responsibility that comes with being on the receiving end of such care. Relationships are not just about what you get out of them, but about what you put into them. They require mutual effort, understanding, and a deep appreciation for each other's unique contributions. One of the most important aspects of any relationship is communication. It's not just about talking, but about truly listening, understanding, and responding. It's about creating a space where both partners feel safe to express their thoughts, fears, and desires without judgment. Communication is the bridge that connects two individuals, allowing them to share their inner worlds with each other. Without it, even the strongest relationships can falter. Another essential element is trust. Trust is the foundation upon which all healthy relationships are built. It's about believing in each other's intentions, being honest and transparent, and maintaining a sense of reliability and dependability. Trust is earned over time, through consistent actions and words. It's something that must be nurtured and protected, for once it's broken, it can be difficult to rebuild. We must also consider the role of empathy in relationships. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. It's about putting yourself in your partner's shoes, seeing things from their perspective, and responding with compassion. Empathy fosters a deeper connection and allows for greater understanding and closeness between partners. It's what helps us navigate the challenges of life together, hand in hand. Let us not forget the importance of compromise. Relationships are about finding a balance between two individuals, each with their own needs, desires, and preferences. Compromise doesn't mean giving up what's important to you, but rather finding a middle ground where both partners feel satisfied and respected. It's about being willing to make adjustments for the sake of the relationship and recognizing that sometimes, it's better to be happy than to be right. At the heart of any relationship is love. Love is the force that binds us together, that inspires us to be better, and that gives our lives meaning. But love is not just a feeling, it's a choice. It's something we must actively cultivate and nurture every day. It's about showing up for each other, being there in both the good times and the bad, and committing to the relationship even when things get tough. When a woman sleeps with a man, she trusts him. In intimacy, she lays bare her soul, entrusting her life, will, and body into his hands, allowing him to shape her experience in profound ways. This is why, when relationships crumble, the impact on her can be devastating. It shatters her not because of her physical beauty or wealth, but because the connection transcends the physical. If her mind and heart are not as radiant as her appearance, she might not be the right partner for you. Acknowledge this truth and have the courage to walk away when necessary. We must recognize that people often start to miss your presence when they realize they can't find someone to fill the void you left behind. In this dynamic, many women lose good men because they heed the poisonous counsel of friends who are themselves trapped in solitude. It's a sad reality that poor advice, rooted in envy or misunderstanding, can lead to the breakdown of relationships that might have otherwise thrived. Consider this deeply before you allow someone else's opinions to cloud your judgment. In relationships, we frequently hear the opinions of those who have never walked the path of a successful partnership. Yet, these are often the loudest voices, offering unsolicited advice. Their lack of experience, however, should give us pause. Why take relationship advice from someone who has never navigated the complexities of love with grace and understanding? Wisdom lies in discerning the source of advice and recognizing that not every voice deserves to guide your heart. Your relationship is not a spectacle for public consumption. It doesn't need to conform to the expectations of others or fit neatly into societal norms. It is a unique bond between you and your partner, forged in moments of vulnerability, trust, and mutual respect. The opinions of outsiders, no matter how well-intentioned, hold little weight when compared to the deep connection you share with your partner. It's not a community project, it's a private and sacred journey between two souls. To truly grasp the significance of this, consider the strength that comes from trusting your instincts and protecting the sanctity of your relationship. When you allow external opinions to intrude, you dilute the purity of what you have built together. Instead, nurture your relationship with the understanding that its worth is defined by the bond you share, not by the validation of others. This mindset fosters a deeper, more resilient connection. In the pursuit of a fulfilling relationship, it's crucial to recognize the importance of emotional intelligence. A beautiful appearance or a hefty bank account may catch your eye, but it is the beauty of the mind and heart that will sustain the relationship in the long term. When you encounter a woman who embodies these qualities, cherish her. If, however, you find that these deeper qualities are lacking, it's better to part ways early on rather than suffer the consequences of a mismatched connection. Understand that walking away from a relationship that doesn't align with your values is not an act of cowardice but one of wisdom and self-respect. It requires the courage to face the discomfort of ending something that may seem promising on the surface but lacks the depth necessary for a meaningful future. By doing so, you preserve your integrity and open yourself up to connections that are truly deserving of your time and energy. Moreover, it's important to reflect on the reasons behind the failure to replace you in someone's life. Often, it is not a matter of scarcity of options, but rather the uniqueness of your character and the irreplaceable qualities you bring to a relationship. When someone realizes that no one else can replicate what you offered, that's when your absence becomes palpable. This realization underscores the importance of being true to yourself and maintaining the standards that define who you are. In relationships, we often encounter advice that suggests compromising or settling for less than what we deserve. But as a Stoic psychologist, we must remind ourselves that true contentment comes from living in alignment with our values, not from seeking the approval of others or conforming to their expectations. The right partner will appreciate you for who you are and will support your growth, not hinder it. Remember, relationships are not about controlling or changing the other person, but about supporting each other's growth and journey towards self-actualization. When both partners bring their best selves to the relationship, it becomes a source of strength, not weakness. A relationship built on mutual respect, shared values, and emotional depth will weather the storms of life, while one founded on superficial attributes will crumble at the first sign of trouble. As we navigate the complexities of love and connection, it's essential to keep in mind that the opinions of others are just that, opinions. They do not define the reality of your relationship, nor do they hold the power to shape its course unless you allow them to. The true measure of a relationship's worth lies in the joy, growth, and fulfillment it brings to those involved, not in the approval or disapproval of the outside world. In moments of doubt, turn inward and reflect on the foundation of your relationship. Is it built on genuine affection, respect, and a shared vision for the future? If so, then let these pillars guide you through the challenges you face. If not, it may be time to reevaluate and consider whether the relationship is truly serving your highest good. To truly grasp why many women end up losing a good man, we need to dig deeper into the dynamics of how relationships are often approached. One significant issue is the focus on superficial qualities. Many enter relationships valuing things like physical appearance, social standing, or material success above the deeper, more enduring qualities that sustain a long-term bond. When these surface-level attributes take precedence, the relationship becomes fragile, easily shaken by changes in circumstance. The real strength of a relationship lies in shared values, emotional intimacy, and mutual respect, not in the fleeting appeal of outward appearances or material wealth. Another common reason is the tendency to take a good man for granted. Often, when a man consistently shows kindness, patience, and understanding, his partner may begin to see these qualities as something that's always there, rather than as precious gifts. Over time, the appreciation that once fueled the connection can fade into complacency. A good man, who provides stability and emotional support, might not always be seen as thrilling, but he offers something far more valuable, a deep sense of security and genuine love. When this is taken for granted, and his efforts go unappreciated, the bond between them quietly erodes. A crucial aspect to consider is the role of communication, or more accurately, the breakdown of it. Misunderstandings, unspoken expectations, and unresolved tensions can slowly chip away at the foundation of a relationship. When communication falters, it breeds frustration, resentment, and eventually a disconnect that's hard to mend. A good man often tries to express his feelings and concerns, but if his words are met with apathy or defensiveness, he may start to withdraw, leaving the relationship vulnerable to falling apart. We also cannot overlook the impact of external advice, particularly the toxic kind. Women, like men, are often surrounded by voices that offer well-meaning but ultimately damaging advice. Friends and family might encourage decisions based on fear, pride, or social norms rather than what's truly beneficial for the relationship. These opinions, suggesting that a woman deserves more, should never compromise, or needs to maintain independence, can create unrealistic expectations and breed dissatisfaction. In the process, a good man's efforts to build a genuine, loving connection may be overshadowed by these external pressures. Emotional intelligence, or the lack thereof, is another significant factor. Emotional intelligence is about understanding and managing one's emotions, and responding to a partner's feelings with empathy and care. It involves the ability to see things from the other person's perspective and address their needs thoughtfully. When this understanding is absent, conflicts and misunderstandings become more frequent. A good man values emotional depth and seeks a partner who can engage with him on that level. Without emotional intelligence, the relationship may deteriorate, leading to a slow but sure disengagement. Fear of vulnerability is another major hurdle. To truly love, one must be willing to be vulnerable, to open up, share fears, desires, and the deepest parts of oneself. However, many women may fear that showing vulnerability will make them seem weak or unworthy. This fear can lead to building emotional walls, preventing the relationship from reaching its full potential. A good man, who desires a deep, authentic connection, may find himself kept at arm's length, unable to break through these barriers, which eventually causes him to pull away. Commitment issues also play a role in the loss of a good man. In today's world, where options seem endless and the fear of missing out is rampant, the idea of fully committing to one person can be daunting. Some women may hesitate, worrying that committing will limit their freedom or that they might miss out on something better. This hesitation creates uncertainty in the relationship, making a good man feel undervalued and prompting him to seek commitment and stability elsewhere. The pursuit of constant excitement is another factor that can drive a good man away. Some women might equate love with a continuous rush of passion and thrill, mistaking this for the essence of a relationship. However, true love often grows in the quieter, more stable moments, in the reliable presence of a partner who is there, even when life isn't particularly exciting. When the initial thrill fades, some may begin to feel that the relationship has lost its spark, not realizing that lasting love is built on consistency and mutual support. A good man, who may not always be the most exciting but is steadfast and loyal, may be left behind in the pursuit of an elusive and ultimately unsustainable excitement. Unrealistic expectations are another pitfall. Influenced by idealized portrayals of love in movies, books, and social media, many women may develop expectations that their relationship should be perfect, without any conflict or struggle. When reality doesn't match these lofty ideals, they may become disillusioned, seeing their partner's imperfections as major flaws rather than normal human traits. A good man, who is willing to work through the ups and downs of a relationship, may be unfairly judged and eventually lost because he doesn't meet an unrealistic standard of perfection. Failing to appreciate the small, everyday acts of love is another reason why women lose good men. Love is often shown not in grand, dramatic gestures, but in the little things, a supportive word, a small act of kindness, or a quiet moment of understanding. When these everyday acts go unnoticed or are taken for granted, the cumulative effect can be a growing sense of being unappreciated. A good man, who consistently demonstrates his love through these small actions, may feel neglected if his efforts are not recognized, leading him to distance himself emotionally or even leave the relationship. Holding on to past hurts is another issue that can damage a relationship. Clinging to old grievances, whether from past relationships or even from childhood, can create a barrier to forming a healthy, trusting connection in the present. A good man may find himself constantly battling against the ghosts of past wrongs that have nothing to do with him. If a woman cannot move past her previous pain, she may unintentionally push away someone who genuinely cares for her, ultimately losing a relationship that could have been healing and fulfilling. Perfectionism is another trap that can cause a woman to lose a good man. In an effort to achieve an idealized version of love, some women may place impossible demands on their partner, expecting him to be flawless in every aspect. This relentless pursuit of perfection often leads to disappointment, as no one can live up to such expectations. A good man, who is imperfect but sincere in his efforts to love and support his partner, may find himself constantly criticized or undervalued, which can eventually drive him away. Stagnation, or the refusal to grow together, is yet another reason why good men are lost. Relationships require ongoing effort, adaptation, and personal growth from both partners. When one person resists change or refuses to grow alongside the relationship, it creates an imbalance. A good man, who is committed to his own growth and the evolution of the relationship, may feel stifled if his partner is unwilling to embrace change. This lack of progress can lead to frustration and, ultimately, the end of the relationship. Lastly, an inability to recognize the value of mutual effort is a common reason women lose good men. Relationships thrive on reciprocity, both partners contributing to the relationship's success. When one partner consistently gives more, without receiving equal effort in return, it creates an unsustainable dynamic. A good man, who may be giving his all to the relationship, will eventually feel drained and unappreciated if his efforts are not matched. This imbalance can lead him to seek a more equitable and fulfilling relationship elsewhere. In essence, the loss of a good man is often the result of multiple factors, ranging from superficial priorities to emotional disengagement, poor communication, and an unwillingness to grow together. To avoid these pitfalls, it's crucial to cultivate self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and a deep appreciation for the qualities that truly matter in a relationship. By doing so, you can foster a relationship that not only endures but also enriches your life in ways that are deeply fulfilling and meaningful. As we bring all of these thoughts together, it becomes evident that the reasons why many women lose a good man are intricate and multifaceted. These aren't just surface-level issues but are deeply rooted in the emotional and psychological dynamics that govern relationships. It's easy to overlook the importance of emotional depth, consistent communication, and mutual respect when we're caught up in the excitement or challenges of life. However, these are the very elements that build a solid foundation for a lasting relationship. Without them, even the most promising connections can falter. Relationships aren't about finding perfection, they're about embracing the imperfections, the growth, and the shared journey towards something meaningful and enduring. When we lose sight of this, we risk losing not just a partner, but the potential for a deep, fulfilling connection. One of the most significant insights from this discussion is the value of recognizing and appreciating the often understated qualities of a good man. These men might not always be the ones who stand out in a crowd, who sweep you off your feet with grand gestures or dramatic declarations. Instead, they are the ones who quietly and consistently show up, who express their love through small, thoughtful actions that might go unnoticed if we're not paying attention. In a world that often celebrates the loud and the flashy, it's easy to miss the quiet strength and reliability of a good man. But it's precisely these qualities that form the bedrock of a relationship that can withstand the test of time. The challenge, then, is to learn to see and value these qualities for what they truly are, a rare and precious gift. If there is a central theme to take away from this reflection, it's that the essence of a successful relationship lies not in the superficial or the temporary, but in the deeper, more enduring qualities that often go overlooked. Attraction, excitement, and passion are important, but they are just one part of a much larger picture. What truly sustains a relationship are qualities like emotional intelligence, empathy, the ability to communicate openly and honestly, and the willingness to grow together. It's about recognizing that your partner's worth isn't measured by their ability to meet some idealized image, but by their capacity to love you in a way that is authentic and supportive. When you focus on these deeper aspects, you create a relationship that is not only resilient but also deeply rewarding. So, as you think about your current relationships or what you want in future ones, take some time to consider these deeper elements. Reflect on whether you're truly valuing the right things, whether you're appreciating the quiet, everyday moments of connection that often speak louder than words, and whether you're actively nurturing the bond you share. It's easy to get caught up in external expectations or to take a good man for granted, but by staying mindful of what really matters, you can build a relationship that is rich in love, trust, and mutual respect. This is not about settling or compromising on your values. It's about aligning with someone who shares those values and who is committed to growing alongside you. Ultimately, the loss of a good man is often not due to a single, dramatic event, but to the accumulation of small, seemingly insignificant moments where appreciation, communication, and effort begin to fade. It's these gradual shifts that can slowly erode the foundation of a relationship, often without either person fully realizing it until it's too late. However, the positive side of this is that by staying aware and engaged, by continually valuing and nurturing your relationship, you can prevent these small cracks from widening. You can build something strong, something that not only survives but thrives in the face of life's challenges. And in the end, this is what truly makes a relationship not just successful but profoundly meaningful.